Alright, I've already started into this, so I figured I'd shoot a little video. This is a Hitachi modular system, I would say from about 1969, 70. It's early, at the beginning of all this stuff. Model KS-2460. I've put a knob on here just for now for the tuning. Both knobs were missing. Has the BSR changer on top, which I've removed. And I just wanted to play a record on it, but this thing is rough. What I mean is, this is how you find this stuff, and it's not uncommon, the issues it has. The knobs are usually missing here on the end, and you can see pieces of them here. And what I've gone and done is, I wanted to play a record on the BSR because the platter wasn't frozen, but I only had one channel. I've removed the changer. That's the input right there. What else did I want to say? I was trying to figure out which slide control did what over here, and I found one other match online. The writing used to be up here, but someone must have cleaned it and stripped it right off, because it is labeled on the inside, a treble, bass, blance. A lot of misspellings back then at the beginning of all this stuff. And loudness. Not volume, loudness. There is a difference. Now, another thing I want to say, this was inexpensive stereo equipment. Not cheap, not like today's. A lot of today's stuff is cheap. This is inexpensive, but very well made. Very well made. The quality is impeccable. Alright. Our main filter capacitor and that is over here. No, I'm not going to go through and recap this thing like crazy. I'm just leave it alone. What I'm going to do first is blow all the dust and cooties out of it. And we'll do that in a few minutes. Oh, the major issue with this is with the knob broken. You can see it was abused here. Someone's taken the pliers to it and whatnot. Knob still fits on okay, but I lost my left channel on my phonograph and I couldn't figure out whether the switch was loose. And that's not uncommon for the switch to get loose here. So what happens is they keep working it, and eventually they broke two wires off. And by placing the wires near their proximity, you can find another magnification. I've been able to find which wafer of the switch here, multifunction switch it is. It does have some power leads. I don't know, power and ground, maybe for the lighting. I don't know yet. Even with a schematic, these switches can be kind of tricky. I don't know if you'll find a schematic for this. Good luck if you can. I don't think I'll find another unit like this to ask somebody. Good luck with that. But I'm going to say that that red wire went right there. Get some focus here if I can. This red wire is broken. I'm going to tack that on to right there. And one of the signal wires from the phonograph, actually, which is right here, is also broken. And the thing is, when you have two broken wires, well, we don't want 3 and 4 broken wires, so I've taken pictures. I believe it's the light pink. One of these is broken. The blue? It's this guy. Right here. So I matched him with the pink, and I'm going to say that the blue went right here. Because I can look, one of these wires is copper. I think the signal wires are copper, and this is, I don't think it's copper. So it's another way I verified which one goes where. Plus these are paired up, the solid color wires here, and the signal wires are all a wafer aside of each other. Left, right, left, and my right, or whichever I was missing. So the BSR is outside. We're going to blow that out. The cartridge is good. I tested the cartridge. It was labeled right, left, and I want to say the colors correctly. It was the standard red positive, green negative, and the other channel white positive, black negative. I just want to mention my pointer here also acted as a input device, so I could just touch around and see which channel was which. To check for signal. Also on the cartridge, I could just touch the leads of the cartridge and follow the signal follow the signal path, which proved to be okay. So we got out of the head shell of the phonograph and went a little deeper, and this is what we found. Okay, I've gone ahead and stripped a little piece of that signal wire off. Here are my strippers. I don't know where I got this. It's some tool house. It's imported, but it's been a very good stripper. It's automatic. I've paid much more and gotten much less. That one has worked out very well. This is the old standard USA Ideal. Very good. Used these for many, many, many years. And I gotta say, these knockoffs here from the tool store with the freight in its name, these actually do pretty good. Actually, sometimes you get something that works, and this seems to work okay. And it's got a little lock feature, which is nice. Those work very good. And these are probably $50. This is good for automotive. This is a pair of snap-on. It's got the crimper wire strippers, but I gotta say, in some cases this tool surpassed the stripping capabilities. But this is an all-in-one tool to snap on. This is designed for stripping. This works pretty good, actually. So I used the first tool I showed you, just strip a little of that signal wire off, and that is copper. Alright, so Mr. White here is going to come around, and it's going to go above Mr. Yellow right there, on that terminal right there. You can see the wire is broken off and it matches. Then we got to find the red one. Okay, it was a bit tricky, but Mr. Pink is in with his brother, Mr. Light Blue, Mr. Phonograph. Okay, so now we have this red wire, which we have to attach. And like walking the dark streets at night, be aware of your surroundings. See what this is right here? Yeah. The problem areas are always right next to the dial string. You break this, you're in for a little bit of fun, like 3 hours, maybe more. Okay, again with the close-up examination, the red wire is going to go right there, next to that red wire. They're jumped across 2 poles of the switch. And that black one is a red one. There's a black one, the red one, and that red one. That broke off right there at the bottom. And it matches. And I don't think this wire is copper. I think it's just silver. Stripped a little off our red wire, and what I wanted to show was it is silver. It's not copper wire. So when you're investigating these broken wires, just because they're petrified in there after being in the same place for years and years, you just have to really just follow where it lies best, just follow it along the others and just kind of help it, and you'll see that it matches where it wants to go. Just like many things I've done, if you rely on schematics, I can't work on it without a schematic. I know many technicians, I won't touch it without a schematic. Good luck with that. You're not going to find a schematic. A lot of times you don't. A lot of times they're wrong. And today's stuff, good luck finding a schematic on any of the inexpensive stuff, I'll call it. There's just no service strategy for this any longer. But this stuff did have some. There is a service manual for this, perhaps in a Sam's Hi-Fi leaflet or something. I could look it up later. Okay, the other point I wanted to make, you don't have to strip much insulation off because it will melt and you'll end up having more than you wanted originally. So that's perfect. I was even toying with the idea of not stripping it and just hitting it with the iron, and that would have sufficed, but I just took a little insulation off. So let's attach that wire. Okay, and there we are attached. And you get Mr. Soldering Iron away, solder, because Mr. Dial String and solder splash and everything is ready to ruin your day. And it's happened before. If you're not careful. Trust me on that one. And now's a good time. I have a little deoxit in a syringe. I'm not taking the spray can. I'm just going to wet the... I've already wet the switch. I'm all dried up here. I'm going to wet the switch and let it wick its way in. You don't have to go nuts and spray. It gets all over the cabinet and internals. And what happens is also... I've frosted a dial, a plastic dial with some cleaners. You spray it, it sprays everywhere, it gets behind the dial in there, and then you got all these white spots, discolorization on products, on the dial, and things that you don't want. So, okay, I'll give that switch a couple turns, and, alright, next. Alright, I may throw some, I don't know, some nail polish, or maybe some loosening, a Loctite or something on there. But anyway, here's our switch, and of course the pointer. These are oversized, but the pointers come in so many fashions. The flat, it's actually just 180 out of sequence. So there's tape, phono, FM stereo, FM, AM. Which, like I say, it's just completely out. So that's another thing when you're searching for knobs. I may throw some PTFE gel in there just to give a little bit of lube. Let's test this now on our phono input. We'll touch the inputs and see what we get. Maybe even try the FM now that we can switch it. Okay, I have some headphones attached here. And we'll power on. Make sure I'm in stereo. Volume. Go over the phono. And I don't hear anything. Okay. Get back to you on this one. Let me check this. Okay, our headphones have a little noisy cable in the coil cord, but I do have both channels. Let's see. They did label them. This is left, and this is right. Let's go to FM. Well, the dial expands as you move it. I don't have an antenna on here. I'll get one. Signal meter. Let's put an antenna on this. These stereos come with a simple attachment. The line cord here you attach. That's what that is. It uses the induction of the cord to get you some signal. I'm getting good signal. I do like that dial though. Kind of trippy. I have a lot of noise going on here. That's very strong. That should be a good signal there. I have the volume all the way up. Balance, I have two channels. Bass and treble. Signal. Our FM's. Oh, is that lighting? Yeah, that is lighting. Well, that would be the FM section. We'll deal with that later. And, oh, there might be a little bypass capacitor or something. The AFC circuit, I'm not too worried about. We'll dabble in that later. Like I say, I have all these noisy appliances on here, so I'm not worried about that. Pretty amazing, though. Good stuff. Let's clean it up and put the cabinet on and see if we can listen to a record. Alright, so I've gone and blown out the components in here. Again, this isn't a restoration, it's simply a repair. Our switch is in good shape. And just pan around the radio section here a little. It's a low number C535, I think I see in the front end. Anyway, our outputs are two SC1061s. Over here's the underside of our BSR. I'm going to just take and reattach the, reglue the label here. So let's do that. That's a it says model A23, but you go, I think C116H2 is a little more descriptive, and that's that matches where the fingerprint was or whatever that is. That's the way it goes. Nothing special, a little rubber cement type craft glue. We'll just line it up about where it was. Move it around a little. Okay, that's that. Okay, we're ready to drop the BSR back in. I have not serviced this, but the platter is not frozen, and it cycles okay, I think. And the cartridge is good, I believe. But let's throw it in. There was one of the little pods missing. I don't know what you want to call them, the suspension mounts, but I had another one. So somebody's been in here before. And these, it just drops in like so. And you latch your transit mounts there. We'll be good to go. And then you place this on the chassis. So on most of these types, you take the cabinet off with the changer and then remove the changer from the top of the cabinet. I'm just going to lift this up like so, and, well, off camera, and I'm going to attach the power and the input from the phonograph. You just lift up, and we'll attach our left-right channel and our power connector. Okay, this hinges up, like I said, sort of like a hood of a car. There's our left-right connector, and I've attached the power connector, and then you just lower this back down. We're ready for testing. I'll check this head shell. I thought it was a little loose. I may have to tighten this. Okay, I've attached a couple of not special speakers, just the fact that they have RCA jacks on them. And this is dual purpose, this power switch. It'll be on, and it will shut off if the changer is operating the unit, which it is. But anyway, surprisingly, it does cycle. Well, it did. This record's very worn, as you may have heard in other videos. There's our balance left. I haven't checked the tracking weight here or anything. We'll check that out on another record. Stylus pressure is not set too heavy. Maybe that is kind of heavy. No, I would think more would be. Well, we'll see what we're tracking at in a moment. Okay, we're tracking about 4. grab a hold here. But the rubber coupling on there, mind you, this is almost 50 years old, so the cartridge is probably fatigued. Again, I haven't set the stylus pressure. The fact that it cycles is pretty amazing in its own, but this is nothing you just take and run the way it is. It still needs servicing. I told you I did not service the changer. Your thrust bearing here is probably very, very stiff. You don't want it dragging across. It should smooth, have a nice, smooth, effortless, which it kind of does. But just saying, you just can't take this thing out of storage for 50 years and have it, you know, perform like new. It probably wouldn't hurt to have a new cartridge installed. Clean the controls a little. I'm sure it wouldn't hurt to do a few of the capacitors in there, in the audio section, perhaps, and check the FM and whatnot. But I'm pretty happy with the fact that it has both channels and it's playing. So let me try one more modern record on here. The needle is, yeah, that cartridge is a little fatigued there. Not bottoming out, but it's coming pretty close. The needle coupler is weak also, but it works okay. Both channels. Well, our goal has been met for today. Repair it and play a record on it, which it's doing. Let's see if it trips on the lead out groove here. Beautiful. Then the unit stays on when the phono shuts off. Okay, I'll try an LP and our goal has been met. We've got the old standard here, and I happened to find it was a reissue, I think, of the same material. 80s prices. Everybody had this album, so I'm going to give this one we'll compare them later, but I'll give this one a try. Okay, I don't know when this came out. We got our first hi-fi in 1962, of course. I was still in a crib or something around then. Anyway, this label and these wide, the dead wax area between tracks, this is, if this is 60s, this is late 50s, or it's early 60s, okay? 61? I don't know when this came out. They probably had it for a few years. And I've done nothing to this changer. Nothing. So you say all you want about BSRs, but that's pretty amazing. The motor spins good. Idler is good. It cycles. And it's by no means in usable condition. You still need to lubricate, tear it down, bearings, motor bearings, clean the idler. You can see the needle lifts just by setting it down. All right. It's gliding pretty easy though. Yeah, that yoke has about had it in this cartridge. I can change the clarity of the output by just rocking the yoke a little bit. So yeah, it's fatigued, but it works well. Well, the insert says celebrating the 10th year of the LP. It's 10th year of the LP. So that'd be about 1960. Would be my guess. Yeah, it satisfied my curiosity and play the same track off of the reissue. It doesn't sound much better. The stylus is a dual-tipped LP stylus, so I flipped over the stylus, but that cartridge is pretty crusty. Good quality, though, to last this long. It's tracking good and not skipping. Just the output is... You flex it and you lose and gain fidelity in a channel, so the connections... The ceramic inside, the yoke attachment, it's just old. But, alright. Mitch Miller. He didn't like that rock and roll stuff. She was red hot. I mean, she was steaming. At that time over at Johnny's place. Well, this chick got up and she slapped Johnny's face. Man, we just fell about the place. I was just checking the stereo, even though the indicator's not lit. The stereo. The FM is in stereo. Got a little antenna to it, so now I have some signal in the FM stereo. And one more with AM. Check all functions here. AM is very good, actually. See, that's a Canadian station, 730. And CHWO out of Toronto. So, not cheap, good quality, inexpensive.
Music from Simon and Garfunkel and Murray Sinatra a moment ago, and Stevie Wonder, and it is just as good for the rest of the night. Music from Cher, the Beach Boys, and Jim Croce on the way. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Norm Edwards. It's Saturday Night Bandstand.
I just checked the mileage from where the station is in Toronto to here is about 400 miles. So before the internet and everything, you could still hear things from many, many miles away, which is pretty cool. It's coming in like it's next door. It is a clear channel station, but AM, any radio that would pick up this station as a test is generally a good radio. It's been here sitting on the shelf for over a year collecting dust. It was time to put some life back into it.
Still stands the test of time. William Love's Saturday Night Bandstand.